One of the great things about coming out to Arsenal is meeting interesting people, fantastic people, and learning the history of the club. And today I'm really fortunate to meet Lee Roberts. And Lee Roberts is also known as Lee Gooner. And Lee Gooner, can you tell me how Lee Gooner came around in the history of the word Gooner?
Well, he ain't so much Lee Gooner, it's the name Gooner. It started in the 70s. It was a derogatory term by Tottenham supporters, going back 77, 78. There's many versions of it, from a David Bowie song to different people for different things, but basically it was used by the Yids to try and make us look small because we called them the Yids. And eventually more Arsenal, I used to drink with Yids in Bethnal Green. More Arsenal came over because at that time there weren't 60,000 over there. There's 20, 25,000 in the 70s. So it was smaller and smaller. More Arsenal came over there. You used to drink with each other on a Friday night. And then when more of them came in the pub, they go, "Who's that?" So their answer was, "That's Lee Gooner," to denote straight away that I'm an Arsenal supporter amongst Tottenham. More Arsenal come over, he's a Gooner, he's a Gooner, he's a Gooner, and then it mushroomed from there. So now all the rabble use Gooner, but half of them don't know where it comes from. You know, and that's basically the story. It was started by the scum in the 70s.
And we were talking earlier about your history, and a book that most Gooners have read is Fever Pitch. And what can you tell me, one little article about Fever Pitch we were talking about earlier?
Well, only to say that Fever Pitch is one version, and most of us are the opposite version. So when he's talking about things were going on the other side, that was us. That's what we was doing in the 70s, which is a total opposite to Nick Hornby's book.
And then there's also a band that came out, and tell me about that group.
Well, it's called the Riders of the Night, which is all the old boys. You can find them on the internet. That's where the original Gooner, which is basically an explanation of where it come from. But there's other songs, but that's all old Arsenal. You know, which are different websites, The Herd, Where Is Our Arsenal Gone? They're all from the older ones, not the younger ones. And there is, no matter what they try and hide over there, the Gestapo, there are Arsene Wenger or Arsenal FC, and that's what people say. Where is our Arsenal gone? You know, so that's where that comes from. They're called Riders of the Night.
So Lee, tell me a little bit about the famous clock-in that we all heard about, that we've read about.
It's just where everyone went in the 70s. I mean, that's where the away supporters are. So that's where you went, you know. And then you had, during certain games, Chelsea coming in at 9 o'clock in the morning to take the North Bank, or Tottenham coming in, and they thought it was great. But that's where we was when it happened. You know, everyone knows where everyone's ends are. Chelsea, the Shed. Old Trafford was the Strephey. That's what always makes me laugh about Tottenham. No one knew where their end was, because if you took the Paxton, they was in the Shelf. You took the Shelf, they was in the Park Lane. And then the following year, they'd be back in the Paxton. So us, if you wanted to have a fight over the Arsenal, you went over the clock in. You know, certain big games, when we thought they'd try and walk in, it'd be the North Bank. So, yeah. And as for that...
And there we go.
I've had that since... I don't know, to be honest with you. 85, something like that. So, yeah, just one of them things that had to be done.
So if I understand you correctly, back in the day, they actually mixed the fans together?
You paid at the door.
You paid at the door?
Paid at the door. I mean, you can look at the history. During the 60s, it was all Arsenal. 60s, early 70s, Arsenal ran London. There's no question of that. You know, West Ham will always have West Ham, but, you know, Arsenal ran it. And then it died a death, middle 70s. Spurs had a good little period, 73, 74, when they had Rotterdam. And then it started to come back again, 77, 78, which was us. We was the slightly older ones, and we took a lot of hidings, but the ones who come behind, I mean, I'm in my 50s, the ones who are in their mid-40s now, early 50s, which he goes from 80 through to 89, no one touched him. No one done them. Done West Ham in 85 and 84, Plasto, and that can be checked. And Tottenham always took a good game, but amazingly, especially nowadays, the police always seem to arrive. And little things that a lot of people don't know, in the last 4 occasions that Arsenal and Tottenham have met properly, Tottenham have been seriously hurt in, hospital stuff. So, and that's on record. I'm not saying anything that no one doesn't really know about. So, yeah, it still goes on, but cameras killed everything. And Margaret Thatcher.
Now, going back to the 70s and 80s, did you ever envision Arsenal being a club renowned worldwide with thousands, 10,000 Gooners across the United States, Arsenal America, 10,000 strong watching matches, Arsenal Australia, the Hellenic Gooners? Have you ever thought Arsenal would be such an international club back in the days?
In the days, well, when I'm 18, as far as I'm concerned, they're the biggest club in the world. That don't enter your head. You get a bit older, you have realisation. If there's one thing, as I say, it's all black and white for people. You either love thing or you don't have her. I think his time's up, but he has put us where we are. As I said to you before, he's like a man who started his own company, and the company's got so big, he doesn't know when to let go. So, no, I didn't envisage it being this big, but I'll give you a perfect example. Once Wenger started, I still see some odd Tottenham supporters. They said, "You've gone above us now, we're going to have to compete with Chelsea." And that was the Tottenham view. And then Abramovich came along, so that fucked the yids anyway, which is nice. But that was their view. That's from them. We stepped above them. But we've stood still for 10 years, haven't we?
Great, well, thanks. So now you have the story of the where the Gooner actually came from. Lee Gooner, the original Gooner. We really appreciate your time. Thank you. And I got a question over here. What do you think of Tottenham?
Shit!
What do you think of shit?
Tottenham!
Thank you.
That's alright. We ain't Tottenham. 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 We are the Tottenham haters. Why word? Why word? Why word?
Are we being politically correct? Where'd you get the politically correct? Must be from America to get that politically correct stuff.
My parents. I was well brought up.
All righty, guys. Well, thank you very much. Have a great night.